Hey yo, G Dash, boy, take your hat off. Fine. This week on Hats Off with G Dash Jones.
You know what you watching. Hey. Oh. That's it. I am. Hold on. Hold on. You gotta hit the little. You watching Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. Hey. Oh, we getting in today. Listen. Hold up. I got it. What? I'm keeping it funky today. Just letting it go a little bit. Ooh, because it feels good. It feels like the right time, you know. It feels like the right time. Oh man, today. Hold up. Ooh, I'm at you with the skirt. Hold up. Skirt. Listen, shouts out to her as I am. That right there just felt good to my soul. Needed that one. So today, hats off with G Dash Jones. Oh man, when I tell you today, we got what you need. Say, we got what you need. Woo! I'm talking about goes by the name of CaDeidra Jarmon. Whoa, hold on. LSW, hold on. I'm talking about the Wilmington Youth Leadership Incubator Lead Social Worker. Hold on. I'm not done. There's what? Wait, what's you doing over there? With the programs and the managing things and the but which ones? You ever seen the Artomat? You ever seen it? You might have. You might not have. I don't know. But guess what? You should have. If you didn't, you need to. All right. Listen. Also, I'm not done. There's a rock lot. Guess what? If you didn't, you need to. Okay. Listen, community gardens. Guess what? If not, you need to. Okay. Hi, listen, there she goes. You see it? Cool. That's the vibe.
Wait a minute. Happy birthday.
Oh, it's mine? Who made it? I did. Listen, I didn't even know. Wait, there's a day for this? I didn't know it happened that way. Okay. Must be happening every year, huh? That's crazy.
Every
Yes, it is, and I appreciate you for that. Yes, it is my birthday. That's why I started with her, As I Am. That song is big Leo energy. If y'all y'all don't know, if y'all don't know what that song by her is, As I Am is fire. Normally, I open up my show with some local artist or somebody that's not commercial, not unknown, but I had to go with just cause. Yeah, you know, I'll be feeling like the best. Yeah, I am. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure. Look. Can y'all see this? Is it backwards?
yes.
Is it showing?
Yes, it is backwards.
One thing
Root for
that we will root for ourselves, right? Right? This cup says root for your damn self. That's what it says. So self-celebrating is okay, everybody. It's okay. It's okay.
fact. I told people since I was young, well, younger, and Juvenile came out. Wow, listen, that was my affirmation. I'm a paper chaser on the block, on fire. Listen, y'all don't understand. Make your music your affirmations. I'm gonna sign a petition. That's what you need to do. Okay, make you feel good about yourself. How are you today?
If it's speaking to you, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. How are you today?
I'm blessed. I am blessed. I don't have any complaints. God is good. God is good.
Beautiful. Oh, listen, we gonna talk. Today having you here is amazing because you work on so many different things, and I'm gonna talk about them. Right, I'm gonna talk about them. Before I get into all the things, I got to mention. I'm gonna take us through a couple events that are happening just with the weekend,
For sure.
and you know, just some stuff that's popping off if I can. Now, with that said, I got a list of things, but I want to know: is there anything you want me to mention,
This weekend,
or next
this
week?
weekend is a little. Let me make sure. Because a lot of things are happening. This weekend is probably one of my first more quiet weekends that I've had in quite a while, by design. A lot of my programming right now is happening during the week. We just had the Grand Opera House with Darnell Miller, was just in the Rock Lot yesterday, which was really dope. We've had concerts within the last few weeks. I mean, you name it. We have drumming circle today. We just had our yoga class, self-care for sisters. So, but this weekend in particular, it's a little quiet. So.
All right. Okay. Well, anything next week? Anything you want me to add into this moment?
Next week, let me get the dates. Let me wrap everything around my head. We definitely have our self-care for sisters. We have a few, our rock live. We have our garden open hours. I was going to get into all that good stuff. But we have our open hours at our 7th and West Garden. Looking at next week being the end of July, we have drumming circle. So programming as normal we have going into next week on my side of things at Wilmington Alliance. But I'm sure we got a lot more going on across the board.
Absolutely, I'm here for it. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna add in the drum circles because that's gonna happen. My man, I don't know if it's my homie Grillo, but it might be my homie Grillo. He be out there drumming and stuff. And I know in the community gardens because people need fresh fruit. Like live your life, people. Do better.
Good herbs for your body. We have a lot of rosemary. We have some mint. We have a nice amount of cucumbers and cherry tomatoes. You name it. There's some collard greens. We got some good stuff sprouting up. We have 11 plots, which are run by our farmer in residence, Rob Pfeiffer, along with community residents that literally are out there growing their own food to live. So it is possible, y'all. It's possible to do it in our communities. It's possible to do it in your backyard, in a pot in your house. So yeah, but hit me up if you're looking for some fresh herbs from the 7th and West Garden.
Got you. 7th and West. Got it. All right, bet. Now, here's what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to try to put something into a poem.
Okay.
This is when we have fun. So let's see how well I can do. It's my birthday, y'all, so I should be extra saucy. Either I'm going to be extra nice, or you better not judge me, because either way, okay? That's how it's supposed to play out. So I'm thinking I'm going to update your calendar real quick. And here's my methods. You could start off your Friday with Ty Mathis. You know what he does with guitars over at Rainbow Records. But if you want to give it a second, listen, get your two-stepping. Go see Mo Nicole, Elion Sax Man at Positive Vibes in the park. And I reckon what you gonna feel, that's brought to you by Hanif. And at the same time, they're going to give her out free bags of food. So go ahead and eat. What I also need you to do, well, I'm just telling the truth. You might want to go to Open Streets on Saturday. What they going to do? Have games for the family. After that, you can also stay and come to the Del Contemporary for the party for, by the calls. Delaware Music Network, bringing the music, got you going all. That's Kima, Blue Tulip, Zeke L, and of course me. I'm hosting the situation, so you know how that's going to be. Shouts out to Donnie Gibbs. She got a whole fresh book launch. Go and grab yourself that off of Amazon. Also, community gardens, what's going on? I need you to go. What you gonna see? Fresh off of 7th, yeah, get yourself a treat. They got about 11 plots. You need something to eat. So I promise you can also check Shea and Eli live. That's the Rebirth Live. If you want to stay at home, the podcast is on Mondays. You can also see me at the UAE. That's on Wednesday. Guarantee it's gonna be. I do a pre-show. Of course, you don't know that's 6:30. That's just how that's gonna go. We also have Tuesday a drum circle. My man Grillo. It's gonna be so good for your soul. See, all I'm trying to do is set you up for the week. I'm updating your calendar. This is G. See that? You know what I mean?
That's dope all the way. That's dope. Chris Devaney is leading our drumming circle, but I'm sure your homeboy is gonna come through now that he's heard his name shout out. So I appreciate that.
Yes, you call him Chris Devaney. I call him Grillo.
Oh, okay. So you shouldn't have told me that now.
Yes, my fault. I'm sorry. I listen because he also does capoeira. So and that's so he does capoeira. So people call him, some people call him Grillo. He's also my partner for the art loop.
Nice.
So during the art loop, I do spoken word to the different at the different places that the van stops at, and he provides the vibes with the drums and the you know. So we do a
Very
thing.
nice. Very nice.
Absolutely. So again, just updating your calendar. Y'all see the vibes. Y'all know what to do. In case I clip that, y'all know what y'all need to get into. Now, okay. Now I got you with me now. I've worked on these questions. I was thinking about this. You do a lot of things, right? And I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it. It's a great week to have a black woman on my show.
Hey.
do what y'all want with that information. I felt like it's the perfect time. Like it just lined up because it wasn't even supposed to be this. It just lined up perfectly. Okay, that's amazing in its own weird way, right?
Yes. What a time, right? What a time. And I'm gonna say it. What a time to be black.
Talk about it. Hold on, y'all know it. Now, before we get into the details, you got a lot, but we'll say tell the people just a little bit about yourself. What you want them to know.
Okay. Well, I mean, for those that follow me on social media, know that I post a lot about the work that I do. So I'm not just my work, though. You know, I'm a mother first. I have 3 amazing children, or young adults now. I have a son who's a teacher at Commmuinty. I have a daughter that just graduated, summa cum laude from Howard University. She is pre-med. And I have a young little me coming up. She's a little Leo, by the name of Bree. And Bree is just so intelligent. She's in school now, about to graduate. She has 1 more year. She's a volleyball star, y'all. So again, I start with the fact that God is good, and I am a mother first. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I'm a passionate person when it comes to myself and my community and my people. And right now I'm just taking it day by day and living and loving life as it comes. So of course there's more to me, but that's to sum it up where I am right now in my life.
Absolutely. Listen, I applaud that. Listen, you done raised them kids already, got them going with the little one, and you working, got your own business. Listen, licensed social worker. She left some stuff out. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. Licensed social worker, technically award recipient. All right. I'm not done. Managing, which when she mentioned Wilmington Alliance and stuff you see on the stuff, is because she's managing multiple areas of programming with them. Entrepreneur. Right, workshops got them. Socio emotional workshops at that. Not just like it's. I told you she left some stuff out. I told you she left. There's a handful of them things. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it out there, okay, for the things that was left out. And imagine she did all that at the tender age of what? So she, if you carry the 3 and add the 2, 29 is, and on her birthday is the 30th next week. The tender age of 29, birthday next week.
I'll take it. Birthday is next July 5th. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, to be able to experience what life has, for me, just to wake up, and live another day. So.
Ooh, yeah, listen, the world applauds what you've been doing with that time frame when you wake up, right? Birthday, brethren to birthday, brethren, Leo to Leo. That's it. I don't know why the accent came out. It just felt natural. So here we go. Now, as you've been waking up every day and just grateful for that, you wound up on this journey of giving back, right? Like you just been in this philanthropy mode for a very long time. Can you tell us about that journey of giving back and how you kind of get into that world?
When we were brought up to see the word philanthropy, a lot of us thought that we have to be super wealthy, have a lot of money type of wealth, in order to be able to give back. But one thing about philanthropy is it also includes our gifts. It also includes our talents. And I want to say, as far as like the journey with me, I'm sure it started when I was a young girl, just kind of being around so many amazing people that were working within the community, doing different things, even within my family. But I do recall, I'll say like my starting point that I can really think back to was probably when I was in high school. I went to a predominantly white high school, private school, very prestigious, in this space of Delaware. And, I immediately came there looking and noticing that there were gaps, or there were things that may have been missing. As many assets as the school had, I felt like it didn't completely speak to everyone that went to that school, right? Didn't reflect it. But I mean, when you looked at the newspaper, when you saw the stats, that was like the school to be at. I mean, basketball, you name it, we was the stuff, right? I'm just gonna speak on it. If y'all can guess what school I went to, I mean, I don't have to put it out there, but I do remember always being told at that school, which really grew me a lot, was that no talent lied latent. No talent there lied latent. So it began to make me think that all the things that I had inside of me, that there was just like so much more. There was so much more. And I think that I began to commit to the idea that I didn't have to hide myself or hide the things that I felt. And, I had some great allies and supporters within that school that I could go to. And I went to our counselor and I talked to her about starting our first Black Studies Club. At least in my space, there was not one. I don't want to claim that we were the first, but at that time, there was no Black Studies Club. So here we got all these athletes and, amazing, students, that were excelling in so many different areas. But there was also that space that, do we really belong? And we found each other. It's like, you ever been in a lunchroom and you just find your people? Well, that's what it looked like. We found each other. We just kind of navigated and we began to talk about the things that we wanted, in that school. Not so much in a revolutionary way, but more so in like, look, we need to see this. Our parents are paying, or our parents are putting forth this effort and sacrificing for us. And we're here, even some of us didn't want to be there, but we're here. So we got to make, more than the best of it. Let's take advantage of the opportunity. So I started the Black Studies Club, and I think that's where I really found voice. I found voice within my peers. I found leadership in that space. And it's funny when, I have conversations with some of the alum. They'll come back to me and say, CaDeidra, do you know that you taught the school the Black National Anthem, that you had us all singing in the library? And I'm like, I did that. And it's like, it was something that was instilled in me, to be proud of who you were, to hold your head up high. And, it was embraced there, which allowed me to understand that if it's embraced here, then it can be embraced in other spaces. And I think that's really where I found the philanthropy side of my work, the gift, the talent of being able to live, learn, lead, step back, give back, earn, learn, however you want to say it. And of course, it's always circling to giving back. And I mean, really, honestly, from there, I think, it just kind of catapulted me in so many different ways with my confidence. I wasn't like uber confident. I'm a Leo, don't get it wrong, but I'm not lying, y'all. I'm gonna sit in the back of the bush and I'm just gonna observe. I'm just gonna observe and take as much in to try to learn as much as I can. And then I'm probably that lioness that's going to take food back to her family. And when I say that, I'm using an analogy, because that seems to be the way that I was taught and the way that I even move today. So philanthropy is huge in a sense that I find wealth in the richness of my education and what I'm able to take back to my community to educate them as well, or bring them along.
Ooh. So listen, so a couple of those things hit me. Go ahead, if y'all in the back, feel free to write this down. When she said, this wouldn't caught me. When she said that she was willing, it started with her accepting herself, committing to accepting herself. What? Commit to accepting yourself. The longer you take to do that, the more you are fighting yourself. That's a whole nother situation, not going too deep, but that's what she said. Fire. And then the other side of it is people don't realize leading committees, leading groups, leading things like that is the birth of philanthropy. Because at the point in which you're creating something that's going to benefit everybody, you are now giving back. right? People don't realize it's not just charity cases. No. Sometimes people need knowledge, people need understanding, people need knowledge of self, emotional stability, all the things that if you can put people in the right position to grow, you are now giving back to the community. It's a work outside of yourself. And you started that in high school and then kind of spread the world with that.
I started in high school. I went on to work in outreach during college. After college, I found myself working heavily in marketing for actual, almost like a mega church. And, really we were really hitting the streets. We were really hitting the streets and going out and really seeing how we could be of use and help to the community. And that was also a stage in my life where it taught me, it led me, I was led to do that type of outreach and just want to absorb and learn more. Giving back, a lot of times people say give it back. But we got to also talk about the fact that how much that takes away from you, and how much it can take away from you until you find that balance, or until you find, the real passion and purpose behind it. It can take a lot out of you. So, I'm not going to lie and say I haven't been in spaces or found in spaces where I was just like, mentally drained, but at the same time, I just feel like I keep being led, to the space of wanting to give back. God has been, I've been able, to learn, so much, to travel the country, some spaces outside of the country, to learn, different areas of community, to see how different cities are thriving, to see how different cities are struggling, to come back and try to see like what we could do here. How could we be different here? So that's always been like a blessing and something that, it still leads me. It still leads me in a lot of ways. So yeah, let's talk about the give back, but also talk about the balance of it all. And for me, even though there have, during this time, I'm raising kids. I'm gonna be real. I'm raising kids. I'm trying to make sure that, they are allotted, the opportunities that I was and more, right? So I'm out here hustling, y'all. So, entrepreneurship was super important to me. It was instilled at a very young age. My father owned his own business and he worked, my mother and father worked very hard. But I was born into Black business. I was born into seeing Black businesses around me, which only wanted me to learn more about the importance, of that within our families.
Wow. So now, because you led me there, I have to then ask, so, right, you're already in this space of kind of giving back to the world, right? Outreach, traveling, helping, and then you do start your own company, right? You do start Workshop for the Culture. What made you say, while you're working for other people and working for the community through other factions, what made you say, like, I think I need to have my own workshops. I think I need to run my own situation.
Yeah.
And how did that happen?
Even before workshops, I'll tell you where Workshops for the Culture was born from, right? Because I would always sit down with people when I'm talking business and talk about, I would draw a picture of, draw a picture of an umbrella, right? In the middle of that umbrella, that's your main business. But these little points on the umbrella, these are like your sub entities, or what else could you do to grow this business, or what else could come from this business. So honestly, even though we're like super fast forwarding everything, I started Black Wallstreet, Delaware. I found that I'm looking around at the time, and this was before COVID. I'm not going to say Black businesses weren't supporting each other here, but I just felt like we were working in so many different silos. And a lot of the education that I was learning out in other cities, I felt like, okay, I go to Houston and they're all together. They're all in the same room and they're building. And I'm not saying that it wasn't done here, but I wanted to bring that to our space in a bigger way. So the dream of Black Wallstreet, was to bring out the creatives, right? To bring out, and I believe we're all creative. We're all creative. We're all gifted in so many ways. But to bring out different creative people, right? Bring them all into one space and see how much we could learn from each other. So I started Black Wallstreet, Delaware. We had an awesome kickoff. It was held at the Chris White Gallery. Upstairs was the panel. I want to shout out my panelists, and I don't want to miss out on anybody. Forgive me if I do. But I had Dubar. Many know who Dubar is. So when I'm thinking of constructing this, and he was a big part of helping me construct it, I'm thinking of different elements of our lives, right? So I had Dubar. I had Terrence Van. He represented the artists. I had Jet Phoenix came on to talk about, you know, his big give back to the city and things he learned and how he could give back in film. Ken Briscoe. Oh Lord, I can't forget anybody. Oh my God, I can't go blank. But I had an awesome dynamic panel. I had Tammy Varela, right? I can't forget this because, you know, we be the glue. We be the glue. So Tammy, you know, at the time and still is doing amazing things, educating a lot of us on business and how we could grow our businesses. So I had this amazing panel led by, it was facilitated by Ashley Deadweiler Jones, who is an insurance agent. So we kind of came all together. We got in our huddle. I can't forget Fallon McLean or Dill Ishmael, because we really tried to come together and like bring this thing and make this thing huge. And it really was. We had the panel discussion, packed out the house. Downstairs, we had our first Black marketplace. And for me, it was like, it was not about charging the vendors. I didn't charge one vendor. I just wanted us to, right? Because I've worked on the funding side, I was able to get the actual event fully funded. So nobody paid that walked in those doors. Nobody paid. So that was important for me to just kind of showcase and show what we could do as a community. And then COVID hit, and it was just like, boof. And, you know, along with the health pandemic, there was the racial pandemic, right? So not that the dream is gone. The dream has been carried on in other entities and other spaces, which I love. But it was supposed to bring back a space where we were going to have conferences and educational, you know, and it's not dead, but that's where Workshops for the Culture was born, because now we have a need. Now we're all in a house. Nobody's supposed to be leaving a house. So how can I, you know, expand our outreach? So Workshops for the Culture was born because now the schools are calling. Now the schools are calling like CaDeidra. You know, what do you have for our kids? What do we have? And I think one of my first contracts through Workshops for the Culture was at the warehouse. And it was a online social justice class for kids. And when we think about Workshops for the Culture, I'm really going into what our culture is speaking at the time. What do we need? What are our gaps? What do we need to be talking about? So that's where Workshops for the Culture was born, and it's continued. I'm still working Workshops for the Culture. I'm a contractor for the city of Wilmington, a licensed social worker, and I am paid as Workshops for the Culture. So, I mean, you know, hopefully that brings, you know, light to where Workshops for the Culture came from. But it was really just to find a space of conversation, connection. I facilitated a few clubhouse situations, I'll say, you know, through Workshops for the Culture. And again, it was just more so to bring enlightenment and keep the conversation going of togetherness.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna again, I'm just gonna say it because she said some things. So feel free, pull a pen out in the back, write this one down. When this started, she started the Black Wallstreet, the local Black Wallstreet. The reason why that matters is I'm not even gonna go into what I want you to know. Is she said she assembled the people in different positions that could be able to help the cause, right? It wasn't about personal situation. It was, oh, okay, you can do add the arts, you're gonna add some media stuff, we're gonna be able to be able to bring people in from different areas, her being someone who understood funding. What that means is if you don't find somebody who understands funding that aligns with your cause, right? It is possible for you to be able to do this. I don't want people, like I try to use my platform as a learning platform for people to understand. It is possible for you to be able to assimilate, to be able to assemble something like this, to be able to, in order for your people to grow, in order to build. Again, just gather the folk, from the right boom, bing, bow, right? If you don't know them, I know it's going to sound weird. Some of y'all are going to be afraid to do it, but you can Google the local factions that you have. You can click on the About page. Most of the time, it will give you who's on their board, what they do. You can find ways to see, oh, wait, this is what they do. Oh, look, I'm just email them and see. Hey, can you help me? They might not respond. Be prepared for rejection. But
if you, or they may respond.
And they may respond with a plan, with a help. They might respond and be like, yo, we was already working on something like that. We kind of needed, well, they need your body to be a part of it. You never know how these things are going to go. So that was huge. The pivot post-pandemic, fire, right? This is something else. Woo! Pivoting to something that the world needed. This is how we get to workshops for the culture. You know, given that program where people need to excel, but they also wanted solutions. Hey, so what can we do, right? Because people feel helpless in these moments. Finding something like that is so impactful. Now, was this for now, or is this for just youth, or was it for youth and adults?
Really for youth and adults. We've hosted and facilitated a lot of things online. I gave an example of the Clubhouse. We facilitated a talk called When They See Us. We put a spin on When They See Us, and it really was to have the real conversation about the racial pandemic, right? Not so much when they see us, but what are we doing to cope? So we, you know, again, is a space of education. So we all shared, you know, I think about 40 or 45 people joined. Everyone was able to share how they're coping, right? So we were able to, you know, list out, you know, coping mechanisms of how we're just living, right, during this pandemic as Black folk, right? And also books we're reading, right? You know, everybody's solution may not be yours, but coming together with several, you may be able to say, hey, that may work for me. You know, I had people on the call where they said, you know, they would write down their feelings and then they would burn the paper, you know, and release. So there's so many different ways. So, you know, I think I really stepped into my space of being a social worker who focuses on trauma-informed care by really, you know, I don't like to say, oh, just collecting data, but I mean, it's important. It's important that we are hearing each other, that we're seeing each other, right? And we're automatically going to feel each other, right? So I think that's important for that platform. But that's really where Workshops for the Culture was born. I failed to mention that during that time, or even before that time, for years, I had my own camp in West Center cities called the West Center City Futures Youth Ambassadors. So a lot of the information, you know, that I've used, or it has come from the mouths of babes, the mouths of our babies. You know, they've done some dynamic work within the West Center City community. You know, I have kids that came from all over Delaware into the West Center City community, including children from the West Center City community that were taking part in my leadership development program for youth every summer. And that's kind of where the partnership kind of intertwined and came through with the city of Wilmington through that camp. So Workshops for the Culture was like really meant to be here. And I've had people say, oh, you want to change the name? Oh, we want to do what you're doing, but we don't want to call it Black Wallstreet. And I'm like, why? Do you know the history of Black Wallstreet? You know, and why aren't you proud? It's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's history, you know, and it's a part of us. So, you know, this is history that we can look back on and say, if they did it, right, so can we.
Facts. Oh man, I see. Okay, right. I love everything about what you said, and one of the things I have to highlight is, and it translated throughout, was because of the work you did, you were able to bring your skills forward, right? So yes, you had knowledge of funding, but as you just mentioned, you already had a youth camp, right? You're already dealing with the social work aspect. You already been in that space, right? So like you said, we jumped ahead, but there's a little middle ground here where you got into this social work thing. You was already giving back, and then you said, I want to give back to the youths. The youths. Well, listen, they don't know about Cousin Benny. Listen, you wanted to give out to the youths. What made you decide to get into social work, like in general? Like, how did that happen?
I had a great mentor. I call him Brother Anamdi, right? A lot of people know him as one of the twin poets, you know, Representative Anamdi Chapocha, but he was really, behind me and pushing, like CaDeidra, you're doing this, this, and this. You really align, with a lot of things that are needed in a space of social work. And yes, you may sit at this table and that table, but hey, it's time that, we kind of, set our own table with the needs of our community. So Anandi was a huge, wise, quiet, but forceful mentor in my life when it came to wanting to pursue social work and become licensed in social work. So I really do. I'm really into looking back and thanking people. I couldn't have been here and did many things without, these people along the way that have really, been able to see me and I'm seeing them. And that's super important because I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Social work, yeah, that right there. It's like I was already doing the work. I had these camps. I was already incorporating art and healing. Before it was a thing, I was seeking out these artists. I grew up around artists. My grandfather was a photographer. My grandmother ran the West Center City daycare for years. And I can just remember as a little girl, and I didn't grow up in West Center City, but I did because I was always here, just in that space of art and creativity and dance and all those good things. My grandmother, Joanne Collins, exposed us all to. So if you look at my family, once you learn who my family and my people are, you'll be like, man, like they're all artists in some way or some type of creative or in some type of leadership space because it was instilled in us. But social work, and really becoming licensed, it helped catapult me in a way where, okay, I'm helping, but now, the purpose is more driven in, okay, where are we needing to help the most? And in the community for quite a while, what I'm seeing is trauma. I'm seeing the trauma, I'm hearing the trauma, I'm hearing the cries, I'm seeing, things every day. And, we cannot ignore the youth. We can't ignore our babies, so I was solely focused on really wanting to, see what they wanted to see, so they began to do murals, with the help of organizations that were led by Michael Collenbeck. We worked with, we worked with Richard Rawl, did a music video with the kids, Terrence Van, murals all over West Center City. We work with Seven God, focusing on mental health and wellness. So these are things that, for me as a mother, right? And growing up, when we grew up, we had camps. We were able to go. We were able to walk to any part of the city. I'm a basketball girl. So I went to Wilmington High. I'm telling my age, but I went to Wilmington High basketball camp. And even then, like, we found refugee in each other. We found, spaces where we could communicate and spaces where we could learn. And I went to different camps, but I will say that, like, I wanted to make sure that my children had a similar experience. And to this day, I felt like it was missing. So when I did begin to sit down and kind of look at how we could design this camp or even make the West Center City Futures Youth Ambassador Group better, I thought of my children and I thought of what would I want them to be experiencing? What would I want them to see? I want them, they may be allotted to grow up in the suburbs, right? But they're going to learn, they're going to learn the other side, and we're going to walk and we're going to learn, the richness and the history of our people, within this community, which is West Center City.
Now that's it feels like you did a lot, and shouts out to Mr. Namdi himself. I'm gonna need you and your brother as a poet. We gonna have to sit down and talk. If he watch this, he gonna know we gotta sit down and talk. Now
that is my brother.
Yes. But see, I need to go back a step because you was working. You did a whole lot of stuff, and then you went and became a licensed social. How did you what made you say, I think I want to get into social work, like to start it?
I was already in it. I think I was already in it in the work that I was doing with the children. In my camp, I would take about 25 kids, and it was, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, because I realized, no, CaDeidra, it can't just be you. But for like the first 3 years, it was just me. It was just me. So I would, develop curriculums, develop opportunities all over the city, all over the state. I was getting funding to do these things. Like, I don't think I had to really pull out any money to take my children on a field trip. Many angels and allies along the way, different organizations that said, hey, come here, we want your kids. I mean, even all the way to Longwood Gardens, we had a whole, we used to do mental health days there. I taught the kids early about the importance of a mental health day, you know, and just away from your surroundings, and it's okay to do that, you know. So I mean, again, you know, as you meet people along the way and they become your allies, and I want to share this with people because, you know, at times this can seem like a dog eat dog type of situation or city, right? Everybody's trying to, you know, climb or, you know, but don't forget, you know, the people that probably, you know, played real integral parts of your growth, even the smallest parts of your growth. You got to be able to reach back, you know, thank them, and then also see how you can do the same for somebody else. So the fact that I'm even working right now with Wilmington Alliance is definitely by design. The work that I do is by design. The Artomat, you know, because I've worked in the West Center City community for many years. I've been at so many different community meetings. I help navigate the block captains here. So I know that, you know, how much of a need and how much of a want the people of this community want to see success, right? I remember when we advocated. I remember when Namdi and I, along with a bunch of other people, advocated for the liquor store to be closed. And I'm sitting in the liquor store now. It's an Artomat. It's an art space. So again, you know, stay the trail, like stay on, you know, it's okay to, but you know, stay on focus. So
Really quick, just because I want people to understand the cause of that, who may not know, what made you push not only for that liquor store to be closed, but also to turn it into what the Artomat is?
Yeah, so I can't take, I will say this, I'm definitely not going to take the position and say I started the Artomat as far as like the idea of it being the Artomat. What I can say is we definitely advocated for that liquor store to be shut down, right? We definitely advocated for art in the community. We definitely advocated for more educational opportunities and resources within this community. What I loved about Wilmington Alliance is that they were listening. They were listening, right? So you know, seeing this space like boarded up, you know, for a bit, not too long, but a bit, you know, it's like, you know, there are things that can be done. So I remember when Renata walked me through the space, she probably didn't know, you know, but inside I was just like celebrating. I was just like celebrating. And this hired here. She wanted to show me the space, and I had to share with her, like, listen, we advocated for this space to be shut down. One side was a liquor store, the other side was a laundromat, but it wasn't functioning as a laundromat. It was a trap house. Let's call it what it is. It was a trap house. You know, so I used to see a lot of things, like the rest of the community, a lot of things going on in this space that we didn't want to see. So that I'm here. I did come to the Artomat before it was open and before it was completed. So I was a part of kind of pushing the construction, you know, a little bit faster to make sure that we could, you know, they could see the fruits of their labor. And I'm just glad to be able to be here, sit here, be a part of the real change, you know, that we need to see.
Yes. And just so you know, the reason why I asked that is I feel like sometimes people don't understand why we need places to be safe spaces in you know, in the city. So they'll say, "Oh wait, what you mean? Why we gotta get rid of the liquor store?" Well, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, sometimes you go and grab a bottle. I'm not mad at it, but we don't need to grab a bottle from every other corner. And maybe we need an art space on some of these corners. Like maybe we need a space of expression on some of these corners. So like that's one of those things that's super powerful to me to even be able to be a part of.
Yeah, is someone in the audience asking if they can jump on? Is he saying, are you accepting requests? I don't know if that's what he was asking, but I mean, I'm open. I don't know, you know, if you are accepting requests, not to throw, you know, a change in our discussion. But I wanted to acknowledge the fact that that was in our feed. But yeah, to really be able to be a part of the change, to navigate, to really be strategic about, you know, what the neighborhood has requested. I think is super important. You know, this space really was birthed from community voice, you know, and I want people to understand that. It doesn't mean that we just gonna let anything go down in here, because we want to be able to keep it. We want to be able to nurture it. We want to be able to love on it, so that is, you know, that is someplace where that it is a safe space, you know, for the community at all times. But it's a blessing, you know, to be able to work with so many different entrepreneurs, artists, creatives in this space, and really be strategic about, you know, the structure of it. And honestly, I say that, but at the same time, I'm the type of person where I'm never like married to the ending, right? I'm not coming in like, this is my plan. No. So what this space has really turned into is really like a space of healing. Now, healing looks different for everybody. So I can't say that you come to this program and you're going to be healing, but we do offer a variety of opportunities where I do feel like people are coming and seeking and finding, you know, the peace in here. And I like to keep it like I love to keep the energy in that space. I love excitement. You know, we love jazz here in the Art of Mag. We love all types of music. But a lot of times, you know, people will come in here and say, wow, like this is real, this is dope, this is chill, you know? So a safe space it is.
Absolutely. So, and just so people know, listen, you are watching Hats Off with G-Jones every Thursday at 7:30. I bring people who's doing different things to teach, to tell us not only how they did it, but it also may lead to a way that you can do it. We're trying to inspire and grow here. And it's birthday season outside. Big Leo energy. Yeah, I said it. So what? We here. All right, sorry, I had to do it. Now, if y'all don't know, I got licensed social worker right here. I'm so much more than that. I go by the name of CaDeidra Jarmon. The things that we talk about how she's been transformed so many people's lives. She ain't say it that way, but I did. So here's what we doing right now. And you said some things when talking about the Art of Mat that made me, and I'm gonna take it off of Wilmington Alliance. We're gonna circle back to that, but I'm gonna take it off of that. Because you're not married to the initiatives that you kind of can start. Mm-hmm. Do you ever have moments where what you lead into or what you're creating that you're worried that it may get commercialized or corporatized, or we're doing a thing that's for the people and you're like, hold up. I think
have I been in spaces like that? Yes. Have I been in spaces like that? Yes. I can't say that I'm in that space now, but have I, and do I acknowledge and do I see it if it's coming? I do. You know, and I don't know if that just comes from experience or that training, you know, when it comes to making sure that, you know, you know, as a people, you know, you're not being, and I'm going to keep it real, you're not being pimped out, you know, because this is the new word, urban community, or this is the new, you know, trend right here, you know. Oh man, I could go on and on. I don't want to, and it's not to offend anyone.
I get it. But my only question is, how do you manage in those moments when you peep it and you're like, all right, that's what's about to happen? How do you navigate?
Yeah, if you know, if I notice it, right, I will probably, in my own way, speak on it and say, look, this is not the direction, you know, that we're going, or maybe make that decision to not be a part of it if it is going that way. Especially because, you know, we're human, and, you know, you don't want people making money off of other people's trauma, right? You don't want people making money off of anybody's, you know, situation, systemically or not, you know, no matter who the person is, no matter who the human is. So, I mean, you know, for me, that's not a direction that I've ever, had to go, and I've not been that person at the table that's just going to sit back and not say anything or accept it just because I want a job or just because. No, that's not who I am. I mean, if you look at my profile, you'll probably see, you know, be able to kind of navigate where I'm coming from. But yes, I have definitely been in spaces where I've seen organizations that were utilizing youth of color. But, you know, for me, that's a total no-no. I've had organizations reach out to me in the past, and this is in the past, like, hey, can you send us like 5 youth, from your, and I'm like, whoa, for what? Just send us 5 youth. We're going to do this, and it's going to be a photo shoot. And I'm like, no. So it's really about, protecting, I'm an advocate. I work in advocacy. So when it comes to our youth, that's an ultimate no-no. So for me, no, if it's up to me.
And the reason why I asked that, and I like for people to know that, is A, if they're ever in that position, just to give them some ideas on it, and B, working on as many initiatives as you've worked on, knowing that it's okay sometimes to either step away or to say, hey, this ain't that, but you have to protect the integrity of what you're building. There's nothing wrong with protecting the integrity of what you're building and protecting the integrity of your vision, right? In some of the spaces that you're in, you have kind of a couple different visions that you're managing. Can you tell them about some of the things that you are kind of running, even with Wilmington Alliance?
So within Wilmington Alliance, I am the community engagement and programming manager. So more specifically, the creative spaces that we have that are placed here in Western City now, it's more than just opening the door. I have to say that. I hate that I have to say that, because sometimes you meet with people and they just think you're there to unlock the door and open the door, but they don't see the work that's done, within our team, within the advocacy behind it, within the, the impact that we're not just looking for, that's happening, naturally within the organization. It's easy to come and open the door and say, come on and have your program, but it's a lot that goes behind it. It's a lot of advocating, in the space. It's a lot of advocating, for your vision sometimes, not mine, but yours, and that's why it's important that we do have seats at the table. And that's why it's important that we align ourselves with organizations that wholly support us, right? That really wholly support us. Not to get away from your question, and I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not. But
Keep cooking.
Let's start with the outside initiatives, because we are really focusing. So I've only been with Wilmington Alliance for a little over a year now, and it's just been a blessing. I definitely hit the ground running. There were already initiatives that were already happening, so I was able to jump right in with supporting Nataki with the SoCo Arts Market. I started in the spring, y'all, so everything, that we were doing at the time, was in the springtime. We had the garden, we had the summer concert. So, for me, it was just like a beautiful, beautiful thing to see, and a beautiful space to be in, to be able to support our creatives, to be able to be supportive of our artists, to even be able to help educate them in these spaces, right? And I'm gonna say this because a lot of times you'll come with a proposal, and you'll come with this great vision, and it just might need a little bit of work, right? And it doesn't mean that it's not good. It doesn't mean that it's not a great vision, but you got to be able to kind of trust those eyes that are already in those spaces and working in those spaces to make sure, that everything is real and everything is tight for you. And that's what I do. I'm going to sit you down. I'm open to constructive criticism, but really one of our goals here is to grow our creatives, right? It's to, like, you got your mama, we're nurturing you right now because we want to see you grow. We're putting out these platforms and wait a minute. Let's not talk about the fact that you are also growing us, right? It's not one-sided here. You're growing us as well. But we want to, we're making a space. I'll just say that we're making a space where we want to cultivate growth, right? We want to cultivate economic equity and opportunity, right? So that's real. That aligns with Black Wall Street, Delaware. That aligns with all the work that I've been doing in the past. So it was a no-brainer for me, to be here. But it was just a blessing to see all the opportunities, that lied in front of me with this job. So, but
Listen.
Automat, we got the Rock Lot, we got 7th and West. It's been going, it's been flowing, it's been going, and I'm ready for the next season.
Listen, I applaud the efforts. I was at I was blessed. Shouts out to Sarah Crawford. There was a whole visual melodies at the Artomat on the open up situation. You know, so I was up there, did a whole one about God that day. We was touching folk. Listen, it was a great energy. Shouts out to Araya Love and my man Brian Mills. That's my homie too. So it was such a dope energy there. And, you know, just to be at the Artomat, the Rock Lot. In case you haven't been there, again, between the drum circles that are going on, it's literally, but that drum circle, the way that it's done, is actually meant to be a release. Like, so yes, you learn how to kind of play and stuff, move around, but you also are like releasing the energy. Like it's a vibe. You know what I mean? Shouts out cultivating growth. You know, you know it. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Every day up like a little bit into mid-October. So please come join us at the drumming circle at the Rock Lot every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. And that is weather permitting. We have our summer concert series as well in 7th and West Park. You know, it's a lot of action. There's a lot of things going on in West Center City, but you know, you can't stay still. You just can't stay still and watch it happen, right? So the growth that's being cultivated even on that side, which is an alleyway through from the Rock Lot, where we have our community garden cultivated by our farmer in residence. He's there every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you're Tuesday and Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. So if you're ever wanting to learn about growing, whether you're growing at home, growing in your own backyard, Rob, he has like a plethora of wisdom when it comes to these things, and I'm sure he's going to send you home with something good. So yeah. So
I need y'all to go down, check out the community garden. If you're not local to here, find a community garden or start one in your area, and at minimum, eat yourself an apple. Like you've been eating apples all day. Maybe a strawberry, you know what I'm saying? Even a grape. I don't want to stop you. All I'm saying is participate in this situation. With that said, and because the comments also mentioned, I want to ask you, would you ever consider kind of bringing back, and I'll ask it just like that. Would you ever consider bringing back the Black Wall Street?
For sure. It's never left me. Like, you know, things never leave us, right? We kind of come full circle. And I know that, you know, even though I'm, you know, working for this organization, I know it's being cultivated around me, even though it's like not Black Wall Street, Delaware. But as I watch our initiatives here at Wilmington Alliance and the work that we're doing with the entrepreneurs, with the small businesses, with our kitchen collective, with so much, you know, for me, I think it's like, okay, you know, I got that time to really kind of take a deep breath and kind of rest and know that this thing is growing. So this would actually be a perfect opportunity to bring forth the educational side of Black Wall Street, whether I'm partnering with amazing people like Alicia Cooper Wells.
You know it.
I would tell people, even though her and I are just meeting and it's a lot that we're going to learn, I'm sure, about each other, is y'all find your people, right? Don't dumb yourself down for no one. Find your people, right? If you're leveling up, find people on your level, find people higher than your level. You know, learn from each other. But, you know, to bring the importance of home ownership, you know, in our community, just ownership, whether you're owning your own business, whether you're owning your own, like, you know, we're working with so many different small businesses who are just like starting out, but they are just like taking off, like Antoinette Watson of the Stand. That's my home girl. You know, I've known her before, you know, working here. So to even see and hear her story, you know, and it definitely makes me want to be able to say, okay, CaDeidra, it's time to go in your bag, right? It's time to go in your bag, you know, and facilitate some situations here where we can even move and grow higher and grow more. So I got some things in my bag. I'm gonna pull them out soon. But, you know, I want to make sure I get this thing, you know, in a space where, you know, it's flowing. So okay. I've learned.
Listen, I'm here for it. I'm down, and I think the world needs this, and needs all the things from the gardens to the rock lots to the Artomats to the you know, to the workshops, and then even with that said, you know, one would think that, all right, well, okay, so that's what you do, but actually you also still do have a whole nother faction that you did play with the youth, right? So like you do all of these moments, and then you said no, I'm not. I'm social working with some of these workshops, right? I'm giving back with some of this programming, but I'm also the lead. I'm gonna say it again because they ain't hear me. I said the lead licensed social worker for the Wilmington Youth Leadership Incubator Program. That's a whole nother situation. So how did you wind up in that position?
You see all them hats you got behind you?
Yes, I was thinking about it. I've been thinking about that this whole conversation. I ain't gonna lie, like she wearing all the hats.
So I miss my babies. I miss the camp. I miss the camp in a sense where, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting tired. Every day the kids were like, we want to go outside, we want to walk the city, and I'm like, all right, come on, let's go. And that on top of the curriculum, I would love to cultivate something like that, oversee something like that again. I got smart towards the end, and I was able to hire people, to assist me. I had a super dope team. So I know that it could be done. As far as Wilmington Youth Leadership Incubator Program, that was kind of birthed from me having a camp. So at one point, my camp was housed at Hicks. And I believe this was around the time that Director Ian Smith had just started. So I'm known, in the community for the work that I do. Hicks is like a second family to me. Some are family, to me. So that was like a home away from home when it came to like our youth that I work with. So one day we had came from outside doing affirmations, the group of kids we just came from outside, and we were heading downstairs to do our TED Talk reviews, right? And I'm getting everybody ready. Thank God I had a team. But Mr. Cannon said, hey, CaDeidra, come on upstairs. I want you to meet someone and talk to them about what you do with your camp. And that was my first interaction with Ian Smith. He learned that I was a licensed social worker. I guess he had kind of been doing his homework and watching, and invited me into this great opportunity and this great grant where we were working with the youth in different community centers to make sure, basically, I'll just, keep it short, to make sure that they didn't want to go outside and do the things that some of the people are doing outside right now. So the goal is to, keep them, positively influenced, teach them life skills, meet them where they're at. That's me as a social worker. And for me also as a lead social worker is to find resources. When a child comes to me or when I observe something that I know I could, because I'm trained and I can tell, but it's just become a great family, to be a part of, a great initiative to be a part of. And this is something that I put my hat on many days after work and go work with our youth. So this summer, specifically in the summertime, it's a little slower season, but we're working closely with PAL. Again, we're working with all our other spaces just right now, convening and making sure that we're ready for the busy school year coming up. But right now we're really focused on the girls group over at PAL. The little girls really have, some needs over there. And again, just the other day, we were over there crocheting. So we're talking about now we're incorporating home economics, something that's been taken out of our schools. So, we have a great team and a lot of good things lined up. I applaud, great leaders like Ian Smith. I have my allies, I have my people, and it's like I said, I feel blessed.
Yes. Shouts out, man. Listen, I always got shout out. My man Jahid, a good dude. He outside too. Like you want to say accepting of yourself, say off. Listen, shouts out to him for all of that, because he gonna do what he do, and be beneficial for the folk. Yeah. So I have to apologize, but I only got a little tired when we started reviewing all the things you do. How do you sleep? Like, where does it happen? Because, like, we talked about a lot of stuff. Like, it's a lot. Okay, when do you start with it? Like,
a little timeline. So, and I get that from people, especially people that are close to me. I do rest. I do rest.
One time in 1976, I slept for a week.
I do get some. Before we got on this call, ran up to Philly real quick, grabbed my daughter You a pen. She's up there working for CHOP this summer. I'm like, come on, girl. So we're planning to have a beach trip this weekend. So we all kind of recenter, reground ourselves, and get away from the hustle and bustle, and also celebrate my baby girl's 17th birthday.
Oh, congratulations. That's dope. Oh, man.
I'm a Leo, but I'm a water. I love being by the ocean. I love being by the water. So, yeah.
That's what we summer babies. We going we get the heat and we want to just be by sand and water, let it crash up on something and not have to think about people. Like, it's amazing. Don't have to.
So I know how to turn it off, but when work has to be done, at some spaces and time. So,
Absolutely. Now, this has been an amazing conversation. It touched a lot of things that I like people to know that they're possible to do themselves. Also touched a lot of spaces that people should know are actually happening and options that are available for people to utilize and align with as well. Now, I ask all my guests, I tell them, I say, hey, if you had to give advice for a younger version, right? So you got to give advice to a version of you, but a younger version of you, what advice would you give to a younger version of you? Now, the difference is, right, and I'm talking, whatever they called, maybe it was little CaDeidra, maybe it was little Didi. My sister's name Deirdre. I don't know. Big CA, little C. I don't know what they called. Either way, the younger version, CJ, when you was crossing them up too, when you had to bip on them, when you was hitting the shot, you know what I'm saying? When you used to hit the 3 foul in their eye and they used to cry. Whatever version of yourself when you was younger. But the issue is, it's still 2024. What advice would you have given to a younger version of yourself in the year 2024?
Don't be afraid of your revolution. Don't be afraid.
Oh my God, that's hard.
The times that we're in right now, if I could sit down with a young lady right now and tell her that, like, don't be afraid. You feel it. You have that discernment. Listen to the discernment. Yes, listen to your conscience. Listen to the discernment. But don't be afraid of your revolution. Don't be afraid. I wish I had more people, say that to me. Because a lot of times, we're taught as Black women or young Black girls, don't be too this, don't be too aggressive. They use the word aggressive. Don't be too assertive. Don't be this, and it's like, no. Now, I do attribute learning as a Leo woman, yes, they can hear me roar, right? But I'm graceful with it, right? And that comes over time. Learning your grace, learning how to be graceful, learning how to be, kind, not always having to be the loudest person in the room. I'm not the kind of Leo that needs to be seen. I'm probably sitting in the cut, not hiding, but I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm an introvert and an extrovert. That's just my personality. But I'm definitely going to show up when it's needed. I'm definitely going to show up. So something that I would tell a younger me is, girl, show up. Don't be afraid of your revolution. Don't let them dumb you down, right? They can get in there, but don't let them dumb you down. Don't be afraid.
Yes. I will be writing something to that at some point in my life because that is inspiring. Don't be afraid of your revolution. Fire. Woo. Listen. All right. So that was awesome. So now here's the thing, right? Now I like to tell people, I'll close out all my shows. I tell people, if you give me a word, I can give you a poem. So now as you think of a word, what I want to do is do a quick hat tip. I say I do a quick hat tip. I had to tip my hat to shouts out to Art in the Garden, brought to you by the Cause in Bellevue. They had a whole Art in the Garden situation. My man Bedant Lights Barbecue was out there with the smoker. They had a lot of fresh goods all out there. They was talking about prevention maintenance, as well as my man Smooth was in the dunk tank. It was Brian Mills was painting with the kids, and he had other live painters outside. That was all in the back of Bellevue. So shouts out to Art in the Garden. Quick hat tip. blip, blip. Also, to Future First Gaming. Whoa, hold on, Future First Gaming. They had the opening of their center, right? Listen, oh man, my man Malcolm, my man Nudie. Listen, all three of them, right? I'm mad. The third one slips my name, but either way, they have the opening of one of the first gaming centers. This is a regional thing. We don't see this, right? It's a gaming center for all ages. They're gonna come out with the packages and the plan soon, but you're able to kind of go there and learn STEM. What? Yes, learning, STEAM, that's what it's called. So that you can actually, your youth can understand how the games are made, how to do production. They got podcast studios in there. And if you just want to come out and play, you can do that. So shouts out to Future First Gaming for their opening. Also, quick hat tip. Oh, my man Hanif. Yes, my man Hanif. I told you he got positive vibes in the park, but he actually did an interview with me last Sunday. I was on this platform. He does Wake Up Wilmington every week. Man, great conversation. Feel free to look that up. He went into the politics of the city. He kind of went into in depth on how he feels and enlightening some things. And this was even before some things happened, so it was interesting. But shouts out to him for that. Also, again, hat tip. My man Darnell Miller, he was you did it, you know it, House in the Park. And doom 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 doom. And getting that two-step on, you know what I mean? In the park though, outside. People don't know about that good vibe right there. So shouts out to Darnell Miller and you for kind of putting that together. But you know what I'm saying? It was a vibe.
Rocklot, I'm not going to take credit for that gift. That was the Grand Opera House, and we really appreciate the partnership and them wanting to even come into the community and spread the love of house music, because it was bomb.
You know it. You know it. Also, of course, listen, as y'all know, I'll be at the UAE every week hosting the pre-show. I had a special guest with me. I bring special guests with me every time. So my man was D Harv. Listen, he was up in there singing Master Blast. If y'all don't know, that's Stevie Wonder. We jamming until the morning. Don't judge me. But either way, D Harv was up there rocking with the vocals. We had a great time. They had the Barnes brothers come out. It's like a soul gospel situation, and they rocked it out. So I got to give a shout out to everybody involved at the UAE. Of course, Tish Williams, Jonathan, John Whitney, Tina Betts, Cultural Affairs, the whole vibes. We was rocking. And listen, we had a good time, y'all. So also, again, I ain't doing nothing but tipping my hat. I say, I ain't doing nothing but tipping my hat. I say, blip, blip. Listen to, listen, this one's a heavy one, or it's a thick one. Some of the initiatives that was mentioned throughout this show, I gotta shout the people out. I'm a recycler, right? Because big shouts to Namdi, big shouts to we talked about him. Rich Raw, whole squad, we talked about him. Big squad, you know it.
7th and West Park. So if you missed it, I know that you need to be following Richard Raw, because either this weekend, and I don't want to quote, but please go follow him and see where he's going to be next.
Absolutely, because they also do the Northside Community Market, and I'm a big advocate for that. Northside Day is coming up. Shouts out to them for that. Gotta give shouts out to Northside for Life, because they got Northside Day coming up. All right, I am done, I think, for the hat. Oh, and anybody who wished me happy birthday, y'all, like, you mean, like, feel so Holt's chest. Okay, thank you for all the well wishes that you gave me. I tap my hat to everybody that helped me through the year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Help me figure it out, help me process and push and all the dope things. So thank you, and thank you for tuning in for this long. Because I've been running this show for almost for a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. We run it. So anybody who's been a fan or who supports your boy, I just appreciate it. So with that said, you got a word for me?
I do, and again, happy birthday! And
thank you.
For in our season, I can't not give you the word Leo.
Okay.
Do it.
I'm thinking. I keep a lion on my wall, probably to keep me centered. Most of the time, people don't understand the repetition that I have to put in my mind to remind myself that I have to be a winner. See, people don't want to listen to the facts, so they get lost in how they're supposed to lead the pack. Matter of fact, they don't know that leadership comes from a place of servitude, so sometimes it's only right to lead from the front and lead from the back. People don't want to grasp any of that. That a part of being able to give back doesn't mean that you're always loud. A part of being able to give back is about making the pride proud. See, people don't understand that sometimes your eyes are still wide even if you try to lie down. They don't realize that all you're doing is taking in everything that seems to surround. See, most of the time, people get so lost in fake attention, the clout, or fake love that they don't realize that the only way to really spread the love starts from pouring into the cups. This isn't a mistake, right? But the work that you have to do is the work that people need to do in order to continuously eat, not just live off of memories of what they've already ate. Okay. Like, listen. Yeah. Shouts out. I'm gonna wrap it up because I didn't do it, and I'm gonna say this because it is such a fine line. People are expecting me to growl all the time and be loud in my frame of mind, and they don't understand that if I do that, I would drive myself insane by expecting you to do what you're supposed to do. Now I'm mad and I start to complain, pulling out my mane. I'm not doing that. What I will do is tell you that it's all by design. And if I can do my part, then we will all win. And that just sits in the heart of the pride of the line.
Hey.
Leo, you know what I'm saying? Something just,
I got a hat.
You got a hat for me?
Wait a minute. Oh, man. Build a legacy. Shout out to Tremaine the Realtor. Hats off to you, my brother.
That's a fact. Listen, yeah, don't mess up the lay though. You can put the hat on, but don't mess up the lay. I don't know what you gotta do. You had that thing. That thing is laid. We're not about to mess that up for this hat at the end of the show.
But thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for your philanthropy.
I make a word salad, and I try to make sure that we all win. That's it. I'm just outside. That's it. Not much. With that said, thank you so much. Anything you want to say to people before we get up out of here?
Hey, thank you for having me. Yeah, you guys, we need to have like these speed dating sessions where we get to know each other, right? We're not seeing each other from a distance or afraid to walk up and say hello and say hi. And I want to learn more about what you do. I mean, it's time to really, bond together, to build our legacies, what a time. What a time if not now.
You have a seed in your head that you about to plant. Don't listen. You about to give yourself more work. It sounded like it. It sounded like you got a whole other idea that just wow. And I was like, oh, she got more work. I am here for it. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest, and happy early birthday to you next week. You know what I mean? Enjoy the vibes. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a great day.
Bye. Thanks.
Adios. Oh, hold up. There we go.